Let's go! He's back! Maason Smith is on the practice field. I am so excited to see him come back, and look at this brace. My goodness gracious. So it's good to see him not working off to the side. Comment down below. Do you believe Maason Smith is a lock for first team All-SEC next year? So this very well could be our last spring practice breakdown. Coming up a little bit later in the video, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the actual spring game, some players to look out for, and my overall thoughts on the formatting of spring games. Do we need to change things up? So, comment down below, and we will see Maason Smith get this rep. And how about this? Another five-star also made his debut this week. That was Deshaun Womack, also getting some work in today. And what's very interesting is that I do believe he was working with the Jack linebacker. So, of course, there is a lot of debate on the actual quarterback position. It has gotten pretty intense. I will say that the Walker Howard spring game footage from Ole Miss had a lot of y'all feeling some type of way. So I totally get it, but let's be honest, this quarterback room of these four, this is Carter Hamsley, but the other two guys, you should feel pretty comfortable. Jaden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier heading into next season. And Brian Kelly also mentioned that there will be a special teams portion of the spring game coming up on Saturday. So we shall see how that actually works itself out with first-year special teams coordinator John Jancic, who was made available to the media. So there you go. Spring game, let's go. And look at that catch right there by Maason Smith. I didn't see this at first. Look at this. And he has caught kicks before in practice. I love it. Let's go. So obviously there's going to be a lot of focus on the quarterbacks in the spring game. And for good reason, right? I think a lot of it is going to be, Jaden Daniels, Garrett Nussmeier. How are those two going to look? It's also going to be the first time you see Ricky Collins. If you want, I did do a deep dive on some other true freshman quarterback performances on Power Hour SEC, including my number one guy in 2023. If you want to see a future first-round draft pick, click the link in the top right corner. But yeah, Arch Manning, Nico Iamaleava, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. A lot of them have made their debuts, and we're going to get to see Ricky Collins play football really for the first time in a scrimmage kind of setting. So it should be a very interesting day. You're also going to see Trey Holly for the first time. And keep in mind, the scholarship running back room is really tiny right now with just Noah Cain and Trey Holly in there. So obviously offensively is what we look forward to the most, but also defensively. How's Harold Perkins going to look in that off-ball linebacker spot? Will Maason Smith even get the opportunity to play? I think one thing for me is obviously Jaden's vertical passing game. Let's see how all of this work with Joe Sloan is going to play out. One thing I'm going to look forward to is not only if the vertical passing is going to be more prevalent, but a lot of Jaden's balls wobble. And that one did right there as well. Not too bad, but how is that going to look going into next week? Here's Matthew Langlois, safety from Point Coupee Parish, or Point Coop, inside joke for our live streamers. Is he going to play? So we saw a lot of guys in this spring practice setting get their first action. And by the way, this footage is via Tiger TV, where I actually got my start. How's Quincy Wiggins going to look? There's Womack right there for the first time. So once again, it is going to be an offense versus defense kind of setup. So there's not going to be a purple and white. There's going to be some individual types of drills, not individual, but like individual periods where they'll work on red zone. They'll work on some special teams stuff. It's going to be very much like some of the scrimmages that, and they haven't I believe, scrimmaged as much as they have in years past. Maybe I'm totally wrong on that. But it's going to be a lot more practice like. And I think I've noticed this just throughout. I've seen a lot of spring games that have been really low key. Something else, LSU last year didn't run a whole lot of counter, if you will, where two players pulled to the opposite side of the line of scrimmage. Josh Williams actually got his longest run of the year versus Florida, and the play wasn't actually blocked right. A defensive tackle got through and he broke a tackle. You can actually see that run in our latest short, top right corner of your screen. It's floating in your face. So there you go. Are we going to see more of this? More guys pulling from left to right? LSU last year elected to run a lot more inside zone than counter, which is what they did quite a bit under Jake Peetz, and it worked, most notably in that Florida game. So obviously a lot to look forward to in the spring game. And look, I'm excited just because there is football. Now, you can come watch the spring game with your boy in Bossier for our April 22nd PHL get-together at the Arklatex Memorabilia Card Show. There's all the details on the screen for you right now. Come on out. I'll be there all day, and it's totally free to come. Trey Jenkins, Patrick Queen, and Michaela Williams will be there from 11 until 1. So we'll see you guys there as well. I highly recommend, though, you getting there at 10 a.m. And we're giving all kinds of cool stuff out. First PHLer that comes, giving away this Rohan Davey card. So now here at the end, I'm going to give you my 3 biggest storylines for the spring. It actually starts with who is on the sidelines here. Who will back up who? At the LSU offensive line position, we all know that they have 5 guys coming in the summer. So the starting group, Will Campbell, Garrett Dellinger, the center will be Marlon Martinez. He is off the screen right now. Right guard is Miles Frazier, and right tackle Emory Jones, along with Noah Kane. The receivers, BTJ, that's Kyron Lacey, and Malik is off to the right side. What's going to be very interesting is actually these guys over here. Here's Chris Hilton. This is Jalen Brown, the former 5-star, and Kyle Parker. You don't see Landon Ibieta over here, but right now, just what we've seen in spring, it's been Chris Hilton, Kyle Parker, and Landon Ibieta running with the 2. So how much run will Jalen Brown actually get in this game? I would expect quite a bit, okay? So my first storyline isn't necessarily the starters. It's how will LSU actually back it up? Because remember, depth right now is an absolute big if right now, if. I didn't say that smoothly at all. Because just so many guys are out. Mason Taylor's out. Charles Turner's out. Those are just 2 of the main players on this team, 2 projected starters at this point. So many people still not there for LSU, and the second team offensive line is going to have a ton of walk-ons. So just be ready for that. That was an absolute laser right there by Jaden. And then, obviously, as far as like first team is concerned, how much Jackson McGohan are we going to see? I really am looking forward to the tight end, him, Mac Markway, and we'll see. Giovanni Peterson is a guy that's played a lot right there. McGohan with mistimed his jump there a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see how all of that plays out. The second storyline for me is going to be one that is actually varied from spring game to spring game. I watched quite a bit of them over the weekend, not all of them, but will LSU actually blitz defensively? Last year, LSU elected to just stay very simple defensively, and it helped because all the quarterbacks had good days overall. All of them threw TDs. I don't think any of them threw a pick. So we shall see how that actually works itself out. So how much exotic stuff are we going to see defensively if we actually see anything at all? And here, once again, are your second team receivers. So can Jalen Brown work his way in with this group on Saturday? And the third big storyline is going to come from special teams, right? How will they look? They're going to have a special teams period. I feel as if the unit is going to be fine. They're not going to be rushed or anything like that. So they should be able to catch every ball when it comes to punt team and kickoff return. And obviously, everything should be blocked properly. I don't think anything should be blocked. So will the special teams look clean? It's still very early, and a lot of that install actually comes in a little bit later. But like we've already mentioned, there's all different kinds of storylines to look forward to in the spring. But, just be very patient with this offensive line. There are a lot of walk-ons playing on this offensive line, especially the second-team unit that you're watching right now, okay? Including one walk-on defensive lineman who was converted to offensive line. So if there are a lot of protection issues, I don't think they're going to blitz mainly because of that, and also they didn't blitz last year. Just be absolutely positively patient with this group. So I know we're excited to see a lot of the freshmen, but I'm going to be on the lookout for number 14, Jalen Brown, because he's not with the second group, and I think he wants to prove that he should be at least second string. And remember, there are more wide receivers coming in later this summer, so look out for number 14, okay? Once again, a lot of new offensive install getting put in, so we shall see, okay? So comment down below if you're even excited about the spring game at all. I am, just because it's something, right? But I will say this, all right? And this video will be floating in your face in just a second. I think there could be a really special way to revamp this spring game format, not just here, but in all of college football, okay? We'll see you Saturday in Bossier, okay? It is Power Hour LSU. Bam! So once again, that video floating in your face right now. In the top left corner, all our spring practice breakdowns, and it's not just spring practice footage, it's all the extra commentary that goes along with it. And tonight, we're doing pizza, baby. Let's go!